For a brief little introduction, my wife and partner, she's the CEO of our company, Katie, is up there in the top next to me, and those are 11 kids. Yes, I have 11 kids. I think that makes me qualified to talk about how to manage trade partners and work in construction. That's real. I do want to say, even though I'm dressed in my comfy Rowan shirts, I was a superintendent and a field engineer for most of my career. So I've been in the field my entire career. If you have a tennis ball, stand up with a clear voice and help me with this. What's one question that you can ask me that would help you to get to know me so you trust me a little bit?
Where are you from?
I'm from California. I then lived in Texas for 10 years, and then I've been here for 12 years.
And you went to college where?
Oh, so that's a good one. I did not go to college. I actually started as a cement mason with Hensel Phelps in Victorville, California, and then I was able to be a rodman and then a field engineer and then work my way up to the field.
What do you like to do besides construction?
I like to go to the lake with the kids. I load all those kids on a boat, and we go out to Lake Pleasant or Saguaro all the time, and we just jam out and have a great time. That's what I like to do. And so pretty much it's family, church, work, family, church, work. The thing that I was asked to speak about today is directed to help you in your roles. I'm going to leave you with 3 takeaways. Takeaway number 1 is we were trained to be mediocre. We do field engineer boot camps and superintendent boot camps, and most of the purpose of those boot camps is to elevate people's desire to be great. I at times have public schooled my kids, I've homeschooled the kids, but in school we were taught to sit down, shut up, fit in, get your worth from the teacher, fit into the social groups, basically not to be creative and not have free time. We were taught that we needed to not be out there, speak up, and be excellent. So what I'd like you to do, if you're sitting there, I'd like to tell you this story, and it ties into this concept of right now, you as field engineers, superintendents, PMs, most of us in the industry, we are trained and expected to be mediocre. In 1999, the development organization WaterAid funded the construction of latrines in some villages in northern Bangladesh. In these villages, many people lacked toilets and defecated outdoors, a practice which leads to the mass spread of diseases such as cholera, hookworm, roundworm, and schistosomiasis. WaterAid's leaders invited outside experts and one named Dr. Kamal Kar to conduct an evaluation of the work. He traveled to the site in Bangladesh. That's where our story begins. There's S words in here, and I'm not going to read it as S words. So when I say the word crap, I want you to really insert in your mind the S word in a really violent, pointed way. In Bangladesh, Carr found that the project had gone exactly as planned. The latrines were well built and many people used them. But he also found something else. I would walk behind the villages and go into the fields, and in every village we went in, I stepped on crap. Open defecation was still a problem. It was still rampant. It was an eye-opening moment for him. World's development organizations had been thinking about open defecation as a hardware problem. If we just distribute enough latrines, we will solve the problem. But it wasn't that simple. For some villagers, the latrines seemed like a solution to a problem that they hadn't asked to be solved. Sometimes the latrines would be disassembled with their parts used for other purposes. In one village in Malawi, no one used their fancy latrines at all. When asked, a development worker said, if you ask them, why are you not using the latrine? They would tell you, are you sure I should put crap in that structure? That's even better than my house. Adding latrines would not solve open defecation, Carr realized. First, he would have to spark the villagers' desire to change their habits. Acting on this insight, he developed a methodology called Community-Led Total Sanitization, CLTS, which has since been used in more than 60 countries around the world. But don't let the boring acronym fool you. This is a shocking process. Here's a stylized description of a typical intervention. A CTLS facilitator arrives at the village and introduces himself and says, I'm studying the sanitation profiles of different villages in the area. He says, mind if I look around and ask some questions? Once he's hung around long enough to attract a small crowd, he conducts a transect walk. That means he's walking through the village and out and around, leading the crowd from one side of the village to the other. Where do people crap, he says, and the villagers direct him to the common defecation areas. They are embarrassed, eager to move on, but he lingers. He points, whose crap is this? He asks them, did anybody crap here today? A few hands go up, kind of sheepish. The stench is overpowering. People cover their noses with their clothes. The facilitator keeps asking questions. Why is this crap yellow? Why is this one brown? The group completes the transect walk and stops in a large public space. The crowd has grown larger, curious about what's happening. The facilitator asks them to draw a rough map of the village on the dirt. Quickly, the villagers map out the boundaries of the village along with the important landmarks, a school, a church, a stream. Then the facilitator asks them to use stones or leaves to mark where their individual homes are. Once the map has been filled in, he points to a bag of yellow chalk he's brought and asks them to sprinkle some on the places where people crap. He says, where there's more crap, use more chalk. There's a nervous laughter. The kids enjoy sprinkling the chalk on the open defecation areas amidst the crowd. Now the facilitator asks, where do you crap in an emergency? Say if there's a rainstorm or if you have diarrhea. More laughter as new heaps of yellow chalk are just scattered around and thrown on the sketch. Often it circles people's homes. In those emergency situations, people can't make it to the common areas. It's hard to miss. At this point, the entire village is covered in yellow. There is a turbulent energy in the crowd, anxious, disgusted, angry, and embarrassed. They aren't sure what it all means. The facilitator asks for a glass of water, and he asks the woman if she would feel comfortable drinking it, and she says yes. He asks the others, and they agree. He pulls a hair from his head. What's in my hand? A hair? Can you see it clearly? No, not really. He walks over to a pile of crap near the meeting area and dips his hair into it. He plunges the dirty hair into the glass of water and swirls it around. He hands the glass of water and asks him to take a drink. The man refuses. He passes it along, but they all refuse. Why do you refuse? Because it has crap in it. The facilitator looks puzzled. He asks, how many legs does a fly have? 6, right? And they're all serrated. Do you think flies pick up more or less crap than my hair? More. Do you ever see flies on your food? Yes. Then do you throw out the food? No. Then what are you eating? The tension is unbearable now. This is what Kamal Carr calls the ignition moment. The truth is inescapable. They have been eating each other's crap. Often at this point, the discussion spirals out of the facilitator's control. People are agitated. They start challenging each other. We can't continue this. This is madness. How can we stop this? They often ask the facilitator what they should do, but he declines to answer. You know your village better than I do. You're free to choose anything you want, including continuing to defecate in public. But the villagers are determined now. It feels intolerable to live with the status quo another day. CLTS is brutal and it's effective. Thousands of communities worldwide have declared themselves open defecation free as a result of the intervention. And in Bangladesh, where CLTS became a cornerstone of national sanitation work, the rate of open defecation has declined from 34% to 1%. What's odd about this success is that CLTS doesn't really introduce any news. In that Bangladeshi village, people in the village defecated in public every day. They saw their neighbors doing the same. Why did the villagers need CLTS to realize something that was right in front of them? Carr said that the villagers will often tell him, this is a truth which nobody wanted to discuss. We're always pushing it under the carpet. And then it was brought out in public and into the daylight. Now there's no way out. The naked truth is out. They didn't really see the truth until they were made to trip over it. And I really like that story. It showcases to me a similar issue that we have in construction. I don't know you all and how you work. I fly around the country though, and I'm usually gone on 2 or 3 locations every week. And I'm telling you, our industry has a problem. And most of the time I get feedback and it's like, wait a minute, hold on. So just so you know, I have a lot of experience as a superintendent, but we have rampant disrespect in our industry, rampant, disgusting, dirty jobs. Maybe not at PCL, I don't know your jobs, but we have projects that are, crash landings are the norm now. Disrespect is the norm. If you ask people, hey, what's wrong with the industry? They'll say, well, the workers aren't trained. We can't get any workers anywhere. Never was it we're not leading our projects right. I go around, and as I invite people to be better, they're like, no, I've always finished my job on time. Yeah, I've been doing this for 40 years. I'm good to go. I don't need lean or operational excellence or tax planning. I don't need training and scheduling. I don't need that. I've been doing this for a long time, right? What they don't realize is that we've been eating each other's crap for decades now. Seriously. What is it like that superintendent that's arguing with me is I don't need to change, I don't need lean, I don't need to improve, I don't need to train my workers, I don't need to do these things. What's the problem? They don't know that they need to change. And it's only until we realize that we're eating each other's crap that we'll change. It's only until a superintendent realizes if they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, that literally we've just hurt that worker and his family. Having people work 6 or 7 days a week for 12 hours a day hurts people's families. Having a project site where we don't have clean bathrooms disrespects other human beings. Let me ask you guys, what is the ratio between people in construction that die by suicide as compared to normal construction fatalities? Does anybody know that? It's 4 times. 4 times as many people die by suicide than all of the other things combined. So that means we're like, oh, fall protection, you can't be above 6 feet. Oh, don't, they told me I couldn't jump off the stage because it's above 18, 19 inches. I'm like, we're all focused on safety. We're literally running people on the ground and we're killing people. We have a problem. And if somebody was like, Jason, I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's that bad. I could prove it with one word. Bathrooms. If you go to the average project site, in any one of the porta potties or the bathrooms that we have, there's abject, total, and complete disregard for human respect. It's just 100%. And so what that superintendent is arguing with me, I've always finished my jobs on time. Yeah, but it was with a crash landing. It was dirty. It was disorganized. We ran the trade partners into the ground, and we didn't make that much money, and we have an okay satisfied customer, right? And we didn't develop our team, and we didn't have fun. The measure of success on a project, in my mind, is that we finish on time with a nice landing, good quality, really nice, safely done, with raving fan clients, right? And that we build the team and take care of their career as we go, and that we do it in a remarkable and fun way.